The great alien court was carved from black stone, its walls glowing with strange blue fire. Tall spires reached toward the ceiling, and banners of alien houses hung heavy in the air. Thousands of alien eyes watched from the high seats, silent and waiting. At the center of the court stood Lady Sorrentha, a noblewoman of the Zorath Empire. Her silver skin shimmered under the firelight, and her tall frame carried both grace and fear. She was accused of betrayal, of aiding enemies of the Empire. The punishment was death. Unless she could prove her loyalty, the alien judges, 6 towering figures in heavy armor, looked down on her. Their voices echoed together like thunder. Lady Sorrentha, you have chosen a champion for your trial. Declare your choice. The court grew still. Every alien expected her to call for one of her own kind, a strong Zorath warrior, or a mindbinder from the scholar houses. Instead, she lifted her hand toward a human standing quietly at the edge of the court. "This is my champion," she said. Her voice was steady, but her heart raced. The court erupted in laughter. Deep, cruel voices filled the chamber. Some aliens shouted, others jeered. A human. Impossible. Humans were seen as weak, short-lived, and unworthy of noble trials. They were workers, soldiers, explorers, but never champions. The human, Captain Daniel Cole, stepped forward. His boots rang against the black stone floor. He was not as tall as the aliens, his muscles not as heavy. His armor was plain compared to their shining battle suits, yet his eyes burned with calm fire. He looked at the judges without fear. One judge leaned forward. "A human? This is your choice?" His tone carried disbelief and insult. "Yes," Lady Sorrentha answered. Her voice carried through the court. "I trust him." Whispers spread through the alien crowd. Words like madness and suicide and weakness filled the air. Still, Sorrentha stood tall. She remembered the moment on a battlefield long ago, when humans saved her, when they carried her despite the danger. That memory drove her to this choice. She believed even if none of her people did. The lead judge's eyes glowed red. "So be it. The human will face the trial. If he fails, your life is forfeit, and your name will be erased from the Empire." The floor beneath Captain Cole shifted. Stone slabs moved aside, revealing a glowing circle of light. It pulsed with strange energy. The first trial was ready. The announcer, a thin alien with a long tongue, hissed the rules. Trial 1, strength of mind. The champion must enter the mind maze, a prison of thought and fear many warriors have tried. Most have failed. The weak will break, the strong will endure. Cole listened in silence. His jaw tightened, his heart beat steady. He had faced war. He had faced loss. He had faced the cold silence of space. Nothing would stop him now. Aliens sneered from their seats. "The human will not last a minute," one whispered. "He will scream," another laughed. But Lady Sorrentha's eyes stayed locked on Cole. She whispered softly, "Impossible for me, but humanity drives me on." Cole stepped into the circle. A wave of energy swallowed him. His body trembled as his mind was pulled into the maze. His eyes closed, his world shifted. He opened them again, and the court was gone. Instead, he stood in a dark, endless hall. Shadows moved across the walls. Whispers curled around his ears. The maze had begun. Illusions formed before him. His old battlefield appeared. Men screaming, fire raining from the sky. He smelled smoke, blood, and death. He felt fear pushing into his mind. But Cole clenched his fists. "This is not real," he muttered. "I've walked through worse." He moved forward. Step after heavy step. The maze twisted, changing with every breath. One moment he stood in water, drowning. The next moment he was buried in sand, suffocating. Then he was falling from the sky with no end. Each illusion attacked his fears, his memories, his regrets. But Cole kept moving. Each time he remembered Earth, his family, his people, humanity's long history of survival. He remembered the words his father once told him. Humans never give up, even when the stars fall. In the real court, his body shook. Sweat ran down his face. The glowing circle pulsed faster. The judges leaned forward. Some expected him to fall any second. But minutes passed. Cole endured. His willpower refused to break. A murmur spread through the alien crowd. Surprise flickered in their eyes. Inside the maze, Cole reached the center. A final shadow rose, tall and black, whispering, "You are nothing, you are weak." "You are human," Cole glared at it. "Yes," he said, "I am human, and that means I fight until the end." With one last step, he walked through the shadow. It shattered like glass. The maze ended. The circle of light faded. Cole stood tall. Breathing hard but unbroken, his eyes opened, and he was back in the court. Silence filled the chamber. No laughter, no jeers, only stunned faces. The lead judge's voice rumbled, "Impossible!" Yet the human endures. Lady Sorrentha felt tears touch her eyes. She bowed her head, whispering again, "Impossible for me. But humanity drives me on," and so the trial began. Not with weakness, but with the strength of humanity, a strength the aliens had never understood, but now could not deny. The court still echoed with silence. Aliens who once mocked the human now stared with wide eyes. The whispers had changed. Some still laughed under their breath, but many felt uneasy. They had seen the human survive what their own champions had failed. Lady Sorrentha kept her gaze fixed on Daniel Cole. Her heart beat fast. She could feel the tide shifting. But the trial was not over. The first step was only the beginning. The judges would not allow humanity to shine so easily. The lead judge raised a hand. His long claws scraped the arm of his throne. "The human has endured the trial of the mind," his voice rumbled. Now he must face the second trial. His red eyes glowed brighter. The trial of strength. A heavy door at the side of the court opened. The sound of chains echoed. Something alive growled in the darkness beyond. The air grew cold. The crowd leaned forward, eager for blood. From the shadows came a beast. It was twice the size of any man. Its body covered with black scales, its claws sharp as blades, and its yellow eyes burned with hunger. The creature roared, shaking the stone floor beneath it. "This is the Gorvak," the announcer hissed, his long tongue twisting, born for war, bred to kill. "Many champions of the Empire have fallen to it." Daniel Cole watched the monster with calm eyes. His face gave nothing away. He rolled his shoulders, adjusted the grip on his plain sword. His mind did not think of defeat. Only survival. Aliens shouted from the stands. "Tear him apart. Crush the human. End this farce." Their voices blended into a storm of hatred. Sorrentha's hands tightened on the rail before her. Her chest felt heavy. She wanted to cry out, to warn him, but she held her silence. If Cole was to win, he had to do it on his own. The Gorvak roared again and charged. Its claws slashed at the air. Sparks flew as they scraped the stone. Cole dodged, rolling to the side. The beast was fast despite its size, its tail whipped like a hammer. Smashing the floor where Cole had stood, the human moved lightly. Using speed over power, his sword flashed once, cutting across the beast's leg. The Gorvak roared in anger, black blood dripping. But the wound was shallow. It only made the beast more furious. The judges watched with cruel interest. Some leaned forward, eager to see the moment the human was crushed. They had seen this before. Champions devoured, bones broken. Cole circled the beast. His breath steady, he studied it with sharp human eyes. He saw its armor like scales, the places where the claws were strongest. But he also saw something else between the plates of its chest. A softer gap, a weakness still. Strength alone could not win. The Gorvak was too large, too fast. Cole knew he could not fight it head-on. He would need more than strength. He would need human creativity. The beast lunged again, its jaws snapping. Cole threw himself aside, but this time he struck the ground hard. Pain shot through his shoulder. He gritted his teeth and forced himself up. He could not stop, not hear. The Gorvak roared, the sound shaking the banners above. It pressed forward, each strike like thunder. The crowd shouted louder, some screamed for blood. Some gasped at the human's speed. Then Cole saw his chance in the corner of the arena. Jagged stone pillars jutted up from the ground. He ran toward them, weaving between the beast's strikes. The Gorvak chased him, blinded by rage. At the last second, Cole turned. The beast slammed into the stone pillars. The impact cracked the stone. Dust and fragments fell. The creature stumbled, dazed. Its scales bent slightly at the chest. Cole did not waste a breath. He leapt forward, his sword driving deep into the weak spot he had seen. The blade sank between the scales. The Gorvak roared in agony, staggering back. But Cole did not finish it. He pulled the blade free and stepped back. The creature collapsed to the ground, breathing hard but alive. Its yellow eyes blinked with confusion. The court fell silent again. The aliens had expected blood. They had expected the human to kill instead. He had defeated the beast without destroying it. The lead judge's voice was low and cold. "You do not finish it?" Cole's voice carried through the silence, strong and clear. "Strength is not only killing," he said. "Sometimes true strength is to win without hate." The words cut through the court like a blade. Aliens stared, some with anger, others with awe. This was not how warriors of the Empire thought. This was not how champions acted, yet the human had done it. Lady Sorrentha's lips curved into a small smile. Her heart lifted, she whispered again, "Impossible for me, but humanity drives me on." The Gorvak was chained and dragged back into the shadows. Its roars fading into silence, Cole stood tall, his sword still in hand. His chest rose and fell with steady breath. He did not look broken, he looked unshaken. The judges spoke in hushed tones, debating among themselves. Their voices echoed like rolling thunder. Finally, the lead judge stood again. His eyes burned with fury and reluctant respect. "The human has passed the trial of strength," he announced. His claws scraped deep into the throne. "But the trial is not yet over. He will face the next challenge soon. And there will be no mercy." The crowd erupted again. But this time the laughter was quieter. The fear was louder for the first time. The aliens began to wonder, what if humanity was not weak? What if this human could win? And in that thought, a shadow of doubt crept into the heart of the Empire. A shadow born from the impossible, carried by the will of one human. The beast was gone, dragged back into its dark cage. The court still buzzed with uneasy whispers. No one expected the human to survive. No one expected him to stand tall after facing the Gorvak. Yet Captain Daniel Cole stood firm, his breath steady, his eyes sharp. Lady Sorrentha felt pride stir in her chest. But pride was dangerous here. She kept her face calm, her body straight. She could not show weakness in front of the judges. Still, inside her heart burned with memory. A secret she had carried for years. Why did she choose a human? Why put her life in the hands of someone her people called weak? The answer lay in her past, a past no one in the court knew. The court announcer hissed again. "The third trial will begin soon. Prepare yourselves." But Sorrentha's thoughts had already drifted back to the battlefield where everything changed. It was years ago. The sky above her world burned with fire. The Zorath Empire had marched against rebels. She had gone to the front lines to show her loyalty. She had worn the golden armor of her house. Her head high, her pride unshaken, but pride had not saved her. The battle had turned. Her soldiers fell one by one. Smoke filled the air. The enemy pushed closer. Her bodyguards were slain. A blast struck near her and threw her against broken stone. Pain lanced through her side. She could not move. Her blood stained the ground, alone, trapped. She had thought it was the end. She waited for the enemy to strike. She waited for death. But then shadows moved above her. Not Zorath warriors, not her own kind. It was a group of humans. They were soldiers too. But not for the rebels. They were explorers caught in the war. Their uniforms were torn, their weapons simple. Yet they stood between her and death. One of them, a young soldier with dirt on his face, knelt beside her. "You're hurt," he said. His voice was calm, though fear burned in his eyes. She could not understand why he bothered. She was an alien to him, noble blood, an enemy even. Yet he reached out to lift her. She had whispered, "Leave me. Save yourselves," but the human only shook his head. "We don't leave anyone behind," he said. His words cut deep into her heart. Together they carried her through the fire. Every step was danger. Blasts tore the earth. Enemies gave chase. Still the humans fought to protect her. One fell, then another, yet they never let her fall. They never abandoned her. Finally they reached safety. She had collapsed in pain, but before darkness took her, she remembered the human's face. His eyes had no hate, only stubborn courage. That memory had stayed with her. Impossible for her to forget. Impossible to ignore. For years she had wondered, why would such a fragile species fight so hard for someone who was not even one of them? Now standing in the court, she understood. Humanity carried a strength that her people had forgotten. Not the strength of claws or armor, but the strength of heart. The strength to endure, to protect, to rise again even when all hope was lost. She looked at Daniel Cole now, the human champion who had stepped into this trial with nothing but will and courage. And she knew her choice was not madness, it was faith. Faith in a species her empire laughed at. Faith in the impossible. The announcer's voice snapped her back to the present. "The third trial begins," he hissed, his tongue flickered like a blade. Trial of truth. The court floor shifted again. The black stone parted, and a pool of glowing water rose from below. Mist curled upward, thick and cold. The judges spoke as one, their voices like thunder. The champion must face the mirror of truth. It will show his greatest weakness. If he accepts it, he may pass. If he denies it, he will be broken. Cole stepped toward the pool. His face unreadable, his boots echoed in the silence. He looked down into the glowing water. At first it showed nothing but mist. Then shapes formed. Sarantha leaned forward, her chest tight. What would it show him? What truth would it reveal? The water shimmered. And then she saw it, Cole himself. But not as a warrior, not strong, not calm. Instead broken, his face pale, his eyes filled with guilt. Around him were bodies, human soldiers. Fallen comrades, they reached for him, whispering, "Why did you leave us?" Cole's jaw tightened. His fists clenched. His past was rising before him. His failure, his pain. The mirror whispered again, "You are not strong. You are a survivor only because others died. You are weak." The court waited. Aliens leaned closer. Some smiled, waiting for the human to fall apart, for the weakness to consume him. But Cole did not step back. He did not run. He knelt before the vision, his voice low but steady. "Yes," he said, "I carry their weight. I carry their pain. It is my weakness, but also my strength." The water rippled. The images shattered into light. The pool faded into nothing. Cole stood tall once more, his face hard but his eyes burning with fire. The court gasped. Even the judges shifted in their thrones. The human had not denied his weakness. He had accepted it, turned it into strength. Lady Sarantha felt her throat tighten. She whispered under her breath, This is why I chose you." The lead judge's voice trembled with restrained anger. The human passes again. His claws dug deep grooves into the throne. But the trial is far from over. The crowd's noise rose again. Confusion, fear, disbelief. Humanity had passed 3 trials. Humanity had endured. The impossible was happening before their eyes. And Lady Sarantha knew the truth. Her secret was no longer hers alone. Humanity's spirit was being revealed to the entire empire. A spirit that could not be broken. A spirit that might one day change the galaxy itself. The court had grown restless. The air trembled with whispers. Some aliens shouted for the human's death. Others sat in silence, unable to explain what they had witnessed. Lady Sarantha stood calm, but her heart raced. She knew the judges would not make the next trial easy. They would push Daniel Cole to his limits. The lead judge rose. His shadow stretched long across the chamber. "The human has faced mind and spirit," his voice thundered. "Now he must face strength. Let the 4th trial begin." The ground shook as heavy gates opened at the far end of the arena. From the darkness came the sound of chains snapping. Metal grinding, a roar followed, deeper and louder than any before. The creature that emerged was unlike the Gorvak. It was taller, wider, its skin like living stone. Its body glowed faintly with cracks of red light, as if fire lived inside. Each step sent tremors through the floor. This was a war beast of the ancients. "Bred only for destruction," the announcer's voice hissed. "Behold the Mulcar forged in fire, born to crush armies. No blade has ever pierced its hide." The crowd roared with approval. They wanted blood. They wanted to see the human broken. Daniel Cole did not flinch. His hand tightened on his sword, his breath steady. He studied the creature carefully, his soldier's mind already at work. He knew brute strength would fail. He needed another way. The Mulcar roared and charged. Its fist slammed into the ground. Shards of stone flew in all directions. Cole rolled aside, dust filling his lungs. The monster turned fast, faster than he expected. A massive arm swung. He raised his blade. The strike knocked him back like a child's toy. His ribs ached, but he forced himself to stand. Aliens laughed from the stands. "Too small, too weak. The human is finished." Their voices stabbed the air. Lady Sarantha's hands gripped the railing. She whispered to herself, "Not finished." Not yet. The Mulcar charged again. Cole dodged, but the sheer force of the monster made the ground break under his feet. The human could not keep running forever. He needed a plan. His eyes darted around the arena, searching. Then he saw them, massive stone pillars rising from the floor, cracked and unstable from years of battles. The Mulcar roared again and struck. Cole barely avoided the blow. His mind raced. He could not cut through its hide, but he could use the arena itself. Humans had always survived not by being the strongest, but by being clever. He sprinted toward the nearest pillar. The beast followed, smashing through broken stone. Cole reached the pillar and turned sharply. The Mulcar's momentum carried it forward. Its fist slammed into the pillar, stone shattered. The weight of the massive structure toppled onto the creature's shoulder. Dust exploded into the air. The crowd gasped. But the Molcar roared and shoved the broken stone aside. Its glowing cracks burned brighter. Its fury doubled. It thundered toward Cole once more. Cole's chest rose and fell, his body aching, yet he smiled faintly. The plan was working. He ran again, drawing the creature toward more pillars. Again and again the beast smashed them down. The arena filled with rubble. Dust swirled in thick clouds. The alien crowd screamed with excitement, but some began to see the truth. The human was not fighting with strength. He was fighting with strategy. Finally, Cole reached the tallest pillar. Cracked but still standing, he stopped breathing hard and turned to face the Molcar. The beast roared and charged. Cole waited until the last moment, then dove aside. The monster's full weight crashed into the pillar. With a sound like thunder, the stone split. The massive structure collapsed. Falling across the Molcar's back, the beast roared in pain. Trapped under the crushing weight, it struggled, but the stone held it down. Its glowing cracks flickered, its power fading. The arena shook with silence. Cole stood in the dust, sword in hand, his body bruised and bleeding, but his spirit unbroken. He had not killed the creature, he had not needed to. He had used the strength of the world itself against it. The lead judge rose slowly. His red eyes burned with anger. "You trap it," he growled, "but you do not slay it." Cole's voice was steady, though his breath came heavy. "Strength is not only in killing," he said. "It is in surviving, in adapting, in finding a way when none exists." The court fell into whispers again. Some aliens sneered, others stared in silence. For many, this was the first time they had seen strength defined without blood. Without cruelty, Lady Sorrentha felt her chest rise with hope. She whispered under her breath, "Yes, this is humanity. This is why I chose him." The Molcar let out one last roar before its strength failed. Its body sagged under the stone. Its glowing cracks dimmed until only smoke rose from them. The beast was beaten, not by brute force, but by human will. The judges spoke together, their voices trembling with restrained fury. "The human has passed the trial of strength." The crowd erupted, some cheered, some shouted in rage. But none could deny the truth. Humanity had won again. Daniel Cole lowered his sword. His eyes lifted to the high thrones. "I am not the strongest in this court," he said, "but I am human. And humans do not stop." The words echoed through the chamber. Heavy as stone, sharp as fire, for the first time. Some aliens bowed their heads, not in mockery, but in respect. Lady Sorrentha closed her eyes for a moment. Her heart whispered the words she had carried for years. "Impossible for me. But humanity drives me on." The trial was far from over, but a seed had been planted in the heart of the Empire. A seed of doubt, a seed of wonder. Perhaps the impossible was not impossible at all. The echoes of the Molcar's fall still trembled through the alien court. Dust clung to the banners and silence stretched longer than expected. For the first time, the laughter of the crowd had grown thin. For the first time, the aliens looked uncertain. Daniel Cole stood firm despite the bruises on his body. His armor cracked, his sword dull, but his eyes shone bright with the fire of survival. Lady Sorrentha looked at him with quiet pride. She could feel something shifting. Not just in the trial, but in the court itself. Yet not everyone was moved. In the shadowed corner of the chamber, a rival noble watched with cold, burning eyes, Lord Vaynar of House Drask. His long black robes dragged against the stone floor as he leaned forward. His smile was thin, sharp as a blade. "This cannot continue," he whispered to himself. His voice was low but heavy with hatred. "If a human proves himself before the court, if Sorrentha survives, my power will weaken, my name will be stained. No, this must end." Vaynar turned to a cloaked servant at his side. The alien's eyes glowed yellow, his hands twitching with nervous energy. "The next trial," Vaynar said. "Make sure it is fatal." The servant bowed deeply. "Yes, my lord." Above, the judges whispered to one another, their voices like rolling thunder. Some argued the human should be honored. Others claimed his survival was trickery. The lead judge raised his hand for silence. "The trials must continue," he declared. "Let the fifth trial be prepared," the court announcer hissed, his tongue snapping like a whip. "The next trial is the trial of endurance. The champion must walk the fire path. If he falls, he is consumed. If he survives, he proves his will." The floor shook, stone slabs split apart. A long path of molten fire opened across the arena. Flames burst upward, heat crashing over the chamber like a wave. The air shimmered. Even the aliens leaned back from the burning light. Daniel Cole narrowed his eyes. His body ached, his breath came heavy, but he stepped forward. His boots struck the stone with steady rhythm. He did not pause, he did not hesitate. Yet what he did not know, what Cerentha did not know, was that the path had been poisoned by Vaynar's servant. The flames were not natural, they burned with black smoke. A toxin that seeped into the lungs. A hidden death meant only for the human. The crowd roared, some with excitement, others with hunger for failure. Lady Cerentha's hands trembled, she could not explain it. But her chest tightened as if danger whispered in her ear. Her eyes followed Cole as he walked into the fire. The heat struck him like a wall. His armor grew hot. The air tore at his skin. Sweat ran down his face, every step was agony. Still, he moved forward, one foot after the other. His will stronger than the flames, but then the poison struck. Black smoke curled into his throat. His chest burned, his vision blurred. The fire twisted before his eyes. His body swayed. He coughed hard. Dropping to one knee, the crowd shouted, "He falters! The human is finished!" Their voices thundered through the court. Cerentha's heart froze. She saw the black smoke rising higher than normal. She saw the unnatural glow in the flames. Her sharp, noble eyes caught the cloaked figure of Vaynar's servant. She knew. She understood. This was no fair trial, this was sabotage. But she could not stop it, she could not shout without proof. She could only watch as Cole struggled in the fire. Inside the flames, Daniel's vision spun. His body begged to fall. His lungs screamed for air, his skin burned. He remembered the voices of doubt, the alien whispers. Weak, fragile, impossible. But he also remembered Earth. He remembered his people. He remembered his father's voice. His comrades, the weight of history. Humanity had always walked through fire. Humanity had always endured. He pushed one hand against the burning stone and forced himself up. Step by step he walked. His boots left black marks where the heat tried to consume him. His breath came ragged, but he did not stop. The black smoke curled deeper into his chest. His vision darkened, his body staggered, but every time he thought he would fall, he whispered to himself, "One more step. Just one more." Lady Cerentha leaned forward, whispering with him, "One more step. One more step." Her voice silent to all but her own heart. Finally, after what felt like an endless march, Cole stepped off the fire path, his knees buckled, and he fell hard to the stone, his body smoking. His breath ragged, but he lived. He had walked the fire, the court erupted. Some aliens screamed in outrage, others shouted in disbelief. The human had survived again. The lead judge rose, his voice unsteady. "The human has passed the trial of endurance." But Cerentha's eyes never left the corner where Vaynar sat. His smile was gone, replaced with fury. His servant had vanished into the shadows. She knew the truth. She knew her enemies would not stop. Cole forced himself to stand. His body weak, but his spirit unbroken. He lifted his head toward the thrones. His voice was hoarse but clear. "You can burn me. You can break me, but I am human, and humans endure." The words cut through the smoke like a blade. The crowd fell silent, even those who hated him. For a moment, they saw not weakness but defiance, a defiance stronger than fire itself. Lady Cerentha pressed her hand to her chest. Her whisper rose again, soft but certain. "Impossible for me. But humanity drives me on." And far above, in the shadows of the court, Lord Vaynar's rage boiled hotter than the fire path itself. He would not allow this human to rise further. He would not allow Cerentha to win. The conspiracy was only beginning. The fire path still smoked. The stones glowed red. Daniel Cole stood at its edge, his body shaking, his skin burned, his lungs filled with the poison of black smoke. The court had fallen into uneasy silence. Lady Cerentha kept her eyes locked on him. Her noble heart ached. She could see the tremor in his hands. The pain etched into his face, yet still he stood. His spirit refused to bow, even after sabotage. Even after near death he endured. But the judges were not finished. Their voices rose together, deep as thunder. The fifth trial is complete, now begins the sixth. The trial of spirit. The arena shifted again. The stone floor parted, revealing a great pit beneath. From it rose a structure of shifting crystal, sharp and jagged, glowing with strange blue light. It pulsed like a living thing. The announcer hissed. "The trial of spirit is the final measure of will. The champion must face the crystal of torment. Within it he will relive his deepest fears. If his spirit breaks, he is lost forever. If he endures, he is free. The crowd stirred, their voices whispered like snakes. Some hungered to see the human finally fall. Others watched in silence, unable to deny the power they had seen. Cole's chest rose with heavy breaths. His body wanted rest, his mind screamed for release. Yet he walked forward, one slow step at a time. His boots rang against the stone. His figure cast long shadows in the blue glow. Lady Sorrentha whispered under her breath, "Do not fall, Daniel. Do not give them what they want." Cole reached the crystal. Its surface reflected his face, pale and worn, but his eyes still burned. He pressed his hand against it. In an instant, the crystal flared. Pulling him inside, the court gasped. His body vanished from sight. Only his shadow flickered within the crystal walls. His trial had begun inside. Cole opened his eyes to a different world. Darkness surrounded him, cold and endless. He stood on broken ground beneath a black sky. All around him were voices, whispers he knew too well. "Why did you survive when we did not? You left us. Daniel, you are weak, you are guilty." Shapes formed in the dark. His old comrades, faces pale and broken. They reached for him, their hands cold as death. He stepped back, his chest tightening. He remembered every one of them. Men and women who had fought beside him, who had fallen when he lived. The crystal twisted the memory. Their faces burned, their screams louder. Their eyes filled with blame. The guilt inside him clawed at his heart. He fell to his knees, his sword clattered on the ground. His body shook for a moment, the crystal's whispers almost won. For a moment, the human spirit seemed to crack. In the court, Lady Sorrentha gasped. She could see his shadow bend. She could hear faint echoes of screams from the crystal. Her chest tightened, she wanted to shout, to break the rules. But she knew this was his battle, not hers inside. Cole pressed his hands against the broken ground. His voice shook. "Yes," he whispered. "I failed. I could not save you all." His tears fell, hot and bitter. "But I carry you with me. Every step, every fight, I live because of you. I fight because of you." The shadows froze. The whispers faltered. Cole rose slowly, his back straight, his fists tight, his voice stronger now. "You are my weakness, but you are also my strength. I am human. We carry pain, we carry guilt, but we rise again. We rise because we must." The crystal trembled. Its glow pulsed brighter. The shadows shattered like broken glass. The screams faded, leaving only silence. Cole stood tall in the crystal's light. His chest heaved, his body weak, but his spirit unbroken. He had faced his guilt, his fear, and turned it into strength. Outside, the crystal cracked. Light burst outward, blinding the court. When it faded, Daniel Cole stood again, his body trembling, but his eyes fierce. The court gasped, the announcer's tongue stilled. Even the judges shifted on their thrones. Their red eyes narrowed. They had expected to see a broken man. Instead, they saw defiance. The lead judge growled, "The human endures again." The crowd erupted. Some screamed in rage, others shouted in disbelief. A few, for the first time, cheered, their voices small but clear. Lady Sorrentha pressed a hand to her chest. Her eyes filled with fire. "Impossible for me," she whispered. "But humanity drives me on." In the shadows of the court, Lord Vaynar's fury burned hotter than ever. His lips curled back in hate, his servant crouched beside him. Trembling, he should have broken. "My lord," the servant hissed. "Silence," Vaynar spat. His claws dug into the stone rail. "If spirit cannot break him, then we will destroy him by choice in the next trial. The human will face the impossible, and Sorrentha will fall with him." Cole lifted his sword once more. His body weak, his armor cracked, his spirit stronger than fire, stronger than guilt, stronger than hate. He turned his gaze upward to the thrones, his voice steady despite the pain. "I am still here," he said, "and I will not stop." The court trembled with his words. His defiance hung in the air like steel, and deep within, even the judges could no longer deny it. This human, fragile in body, carried a spirit that could shake the empire itself. The crystal's light still lingered in the chamber, casting strange shadows across the alien court. Daniel Cole stood at the center of the arena, his body scarred and broken, yet his spirit unbent. His breath came heavy, but his eyes still burned like fire. The judges looked down from their black thrones. Their armored forms shifted uneasily. They had seen him survive trial after trial. They had seen him endure pain that should have destroyed him. Still, their pride as rulers of the empire would not allow them to admit defeat. The lead judge raised a clawed hand, His voice thundered through the chamber. The human has passed trials of mind, strength, endurance, and spirit. His eyes glowed red, sharp with anger. But the last trial will decide everything. The trial of judgment, the crowd roared, their voices like a storm. Some shouted for blood, demanding his death. Others whispered in awe, unable to believe a human had come so far. Lady Cerintha's hands trembled against the railing. She knew this would be the most dangerous trial of all. The floor of the arena shifted once again. A wide circle of light spread across the stone. In its center appeared two platforms, one glowing gold, the other glowing black. Between them a blade of energy formed. Floating in the air, the announcer hissed. In the trial of judgment, the champion must choose. He may save himself or he may save another. His decision will reveal his true nature. His spirit will be judged, and the fate of the accused shall follow. Daniel Cole narrowed his eyes, his body still aching, his breath short, yet he stepped forward without hesitation. On the golden platform appeared Lady Cerintha, bound by chains of light. Her silver skin gleamed under the glow. Her eyes locked onto Cole's, filled with both fear and hope. On the black platform appeared Cole's reflection. Twisted and broken, it spoke in his own voice, sharp with poison. Save yourself, Daniel. Leave her. She is not your kind. She is not your duty. The court leaned forward. Hungry for his choice, the aliens whispered like snakes. He will choose himself. Humans are selfish. He cannot win this. Lady Cerintha's chest rose sharply. She did not speak, but her eyes begged humanity. To prove her choice was not in vain, Daniel Cole stepped between the platforms. His gaze shifted from the chains that bound Cerintha to the twisted reflection that sneered at him. His mind raced, his heart pounded, the blade of energy hovered before him. Waiting, the reflection's voice grew louder. Crueler, you carry death, you carry guilt, you are weak. If you choose her, you will die. You will be nothing. Save yourself, Daniel. That is what any man would do. The crowd's voices rose. Echoing the reflection, a storm of pressure fell upon him. Every alien eye burned with expectation of his failure. But then Cole's voice cut through the storm, steady and clear. No, he said. I will not save myself. Humanity does not walk alone. Humanity fights for more than its own survival. He turned to the golden platform. He raised the blade of energy and with a single strike, shattered Cerintha's chains. Light burst outward, wrapping around her. She gasped as the bonds dissolved, her body free. At the same time, the black platform cracked. The twisted reflection screamed, shattering into dust. The echo of selfishness destroyed. The court fell silent, the judges sat frozen. Their red eyes narrowed. The choice was made. Humanity had spoken through him. Lady Cerintha stumbled forward, her voice breaking with emotion. Why? She whispered. Why risk everything for me? Cole's chest heaved with breath. His eyes burned with unshaken fire. Because humanity does not measure worth by blood or by power, he said. We fight for each other. We fight for those who cannot fight alone. That is what makes us human. The silence of the court grew heavy. No one spoke, no one laughed. Even the judges could not find their voices. The weight of his words pressed upon them. Heavier than stone, sharper than steel. At last, the lead judge stood, his claws scraped the throne as he rose. His voice trembled. The human has passed the trial of judgment, the crowd erupted. But this time the voices were divided. Some screamed in rage. Their pride shattered, others cheered. A strange sound in the Empire's court for the first time. Respect for humanity rose openly among them. Lord Vanar, hidden in the shadows, clenched his fists until blood dripped from his palms. His lips curled in hate. This is not the end, he whispered. If the court will not break him, then I will. But for Lady Cerintha, the trial had already changed everything. Her heart pounded with relief, with gratitude, with something deeper she dared not name. She stepped beside Cole, standing tall though her knees trembled. She whispered softly, impossible for me. But humanity drives me on. Daniel Cole lowered the blade. His armor broken, his body scarred, but his spirit unbroken. He looked up at the high thrones and said with quiet strength, This is humanity. You can chain us, burn us, test us, but you cannot break us. We endure, we choose. We fight for more than ourselves. The court trembled. For the first time in the Empire's long history, the impossible had been done. A human had faced the trials of the noble court and triumphed.